functionality was implemented recently, called custom actions. If you go there, yeah. So this is the one thing that I was going to talk about later that's not a one-to-one, but is still super cool, is these custom actions. So you can define a action of your own that you call in the same way that you would say alert or ask for input, which is prompt in Cherry. Um, in this, you can call the ones that you define in the same way, and then you can put whatever actions you want in there. And then as you can see there, you can define arguments that it accepts and what types of arguments it accepts. And then you would just use either a stop action or an output action to either stop the execution of the um, custom action, which will happen automatically. You don't have to, but if you wanted to stop it early because of a certain condition or something, because of the way an argument came in, or if you wanted to return something, then you could use output and give it whatever output you wanted. So there's that. So you could like have something that's like, oh, go run this JavaScript, and it takes in a script and then puts it through the run JavaScript automation. Um, so those are uh, uh, yeah, very useful for that. Yeah, so that's like an implementation there of like what it actually would look like if you programmed it in Cherry. We essentially put something on top of the shortcut that takes in a very specific internal input that I have tried to thoroughly make sure does not interact with any other variables that you make. It's like I put tons of underscores and stuff. Um, uh, yeah, so it'll like define these conditionals for, okay, if it's this action, if it's this action that we defined, then bringing these variables, we said that they were numbers, so bring them in, get the numbers out of the arguments that just came in, and then we will name them the same name that you gave the arguments, and then just put your code in there. And so like it ends up working uh, very much like a function, and it'll uh, end up um, uh, working in a way too where if you're not using an action that you've defined, it won't be included in the shortcut. Then you have these actions that um, can be run multiple times in the same shortcut, but it's smaller because all of the logic is contained in this one place, rather than in multiple places. Um, uh, Another way you could do that is with I have copy paste actions there right above. Yeah, yeah. This is a similar thing. I call them pastables. Um,
Why not
yeah,
pasties?
yeah. So like you can define something here that you want to copy around. I think in other languages you call this a macro, and you can just paste something anywhere, and it's a pre-processing parsing that it does. It just goes through like it would for like an include or something, and then just puts whatever you want to be there. So it's like if you were like, I want to do this JavaScript thing, but I want to do it, every this. I don't have to have the, it's like if I'm doing something really simple, this might be a better solution than putting something on top of my shortcut and having it run through all this logic. Like, I would definitely only recommend doing that if you want some, like, if you need something that I want to have an input output uh, for, and not something where it's like I want to call this thing and then do that. I would recommend using this. It's just, yeah, you have to be kind of careful about it
Well, and
because you could probably
there's a
get
performance
pretty lost in
overhead
this.
to calling the shortcut recursively.
Yeah, so it's like a double-edged sword in that if that's something that will make your shortcut smaller and make it more convenient for you to develop that way, but if it's like, oh, I don't need something that just doesn't input output, but I need to do the same thing over and over, but I don't want to have to manually write it out. You could use these. So, but yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Like, I wonder if anyone's done any benchmarking to compare, like, an unraveled loop versus a regular loop, and compare copy paste your code everywhere versus calling a function 20 times.
Oh yeah,
Cherri would make it pretty easy to conduct that benchmarking.
yeah.